Then a coordinated mob took over a 7-Eleven. Accomplices blocked the roads doing donuts so their friends could loot with impunity. If we watch this video long enough as they knock over the cigarette counters and some of the more valuable things that were behind the counter, you will see the massive crowds lined up outside of this 7-Eleven in order to get in on the fun. Imagine if you had been in the 7-Eleven when this started. Gascon is one of a dozen plus DAs around the country that believe most criminals should go free without bond after arrest and without jail sentences after conviction. Gascon isn't the only one to stay in office after massive jumps in crime. Larry Krasner won re-election as Philadelphia's district attorney despite double digits rises in crime under his watch. This is video of a teenage mob killing a 70-year-old man with a traffic cone in the city of brotherly love, the result of Krasner's policies. They say this increase in crime, at least the DAs who get reelected do, say it's just a blip on the way to social utopia. Their soft on crime policies, they say, will break the chains of systemic racism in the criminal justice system. I could go on, but you get the idea of where they're going. When questioned, they won't exactly say how long we have to wait for the utopia, but in fairness, the voters of Los Angeles, who, as you can see, what they go through, clearly have not given up hope yet. Political and cultural commentator Leonydus Johnson is here, host of the Informed Dissent podcast. Leonydus, if the voters in these cities, the citizens who have to live with this, don't care, why should the rest of the country?
I mean, Leland, that's a good point. And, ultimately it comes down to the voters and what they're selecting. And if that's the way they want to run their cities and their communities, then okay, you get what you vote for. But one of the most frustratingly challenging aspects of this is that people often have a hard time drawing a connection between the policies that they support, the people that they put in power, and the outcomes that actually surface. And so they don't see the dots. They don't connect the dots. They don't even see them.
Hold on, Leonydus. Is that really? I just feel like we're calling an entire group of people who live in these cities stupid almost. The district attorney, prosecuting attorney, state's attorney, they know what's happening on their streets in terms of crime. In fact, the people who live in the poorest neighborhoods probably feel this the most. Why do they keep going back and voting for the people who allow this?
Listen, the ideology is seeped in irrationality. So the ideology that drives this stuff, though they believe that it's not individual behavior that's driving criminality, they believe it's the system. It's not that they're stupid, it's that the ideology is so poisoned. They believe that the system is the thing that's driving it. So therefore the system needs to be reformed. We have criminality problems, we have murder problems, we have people playing knockout games, we have people just attacking people in the streets. That's not an individual problem. That's not the criminal problem. It's a systemic problem. And that's what the ideology promotes.
Right. So in fairness, though, these DAs would say that the more you lock up young men and take fathers out of homes and the more you make people scared of police, the more they're going to engage in this kind of behavior. Therefore, if we're soft on crime and we deal with, in their words, the systemic problems, I guess you and they disagree on what the systemic problem is.
Right. Well, Thomas Sowell once said that the more that he studies the history of civilization and intellectuals, the more convinced he is that intellectuals are a wrecking crew, replacing what works with what sounds good. We're talking about good intentions, and that's assuming that good intentions are what's driving the policy. Maybe they do want equity. Maybe they do want good things coming from this, but you have to look at the outcomes of the policy. You still have to look at what's happening on the ground and what's happening on the other side. And what's actually happening as a result of these policies is more criminality, and you're getting people killed.
Yeah, so look, you think about New York, okay? Young man stabs police officers. He's let back out immediately. Guy tries to stab a candidate for governor, let out of jail immediately. And then as we see the knockout punch delivered, a sucker's punch, I don't know how you don't think that's attempted murder. He's a known criminal with a long history. He's let out immediately. And you think about the governor, Kathy Hochul, who's up for re-election. She's not even outraged by this. She sort of views this as just another day at the office.
Yeah, and then again, it comes back to the ideology. Is that, well, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. We need to change the system and we need to make improvements. Listen, I track stories of children who are killed under 13 in street violence. And one common theme that you see for the killers, if they're even known, is that they have extensive rap sheets. It happens frequently. This is something, I mean, supporting criminals is something activists have been doing for a long time. BLM does it constantly. If you look at all the people BLM holds up, all the people that BLM talks about we need justice for, it's always criminals. This is part of the ideology and the idea behind what we would call systemic racism or systemic oppression or cultural hegemony or whatever label you want to put onto it.
Yeah, it's amazing as we watch what was going on in Los Angeles at that 7-Eleven. There it is, as they say, elections do have consequences. Leonydus, thank you. I appreciate the Thomas Sowell quote. I'm going to write that one down. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Leland. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.